Hopefully, I've convinced you that user experience is an interesting and exciting path, and that there are things you can start doing today. But you might still be wondering why you should care. Let me first start with an assumption that you're a developer, someone who works on any size of team, large or small, or even a team of one. And I'm also going to assume that you haven't been blessed with the design gene where you can just design an amazing UI or experience without even thinking about it. If that's true, then in short, you should care because hopefully you want to become or stay gainfully employed. Still not convinced? Hear me out on this one. Once upon a time, and even today to some extent, developers were in the business of making things work, making things possible. As a developer, I can put a button on a UI and I can make it talk to the database and do some magic in between, which is great. And up until recently, that was good enough. No one cared how it looked or if it provided a good experience for the end user. But I would argue that those days are coming to an end. More and more, users and companies are demanding that their software works as just a baseline and that it's easy and enjoyable to use. It looks good, it's intuitive, and people really like to use it. To give you a few examples of this evolution of software, let's look at some screenshots of popular sites then and now. On the left, we have Microsoft, circa 1999, and then on the right, what it looks like today. If you put the 1999 site in front of users today, what would happen? They'd be outraged, right? I can't use that, that's so ugly, oh no! Same with Apple. Now, Apple is kind of the bastion for beautiful, elegant design, but you wouldn't really know it to look at their site from 1999. Apple fans around the world would be up in arms if the site suddenly reverted to this look of years gone by. eBay, same thing. Their site was primarily text-based, and even though it worked, I would imagine the user experience wouldn't be great if we revived it today. And finally, Yahoo. Again, very much a text-based site that would probably be hard to go back to given our 2015 expectations of sites. So software has evolved over the years, and so have users, and the skills that worked well for you in the past might need to evolve a little bit as well to keep up with that. And you might be thinking, yeah, but all those big companies, they have huge creative teams now, and that's the job of the designers to make it pretty. While it's true that some companies do have dedicated teams for user experience now, that doesn't diminish its importance for developers. If you work with a creative team, you should at least understand the basics so that you can intelligently converse and collaborate with them. Maybe even save them some time having to explain or redo the things that you give them. If you don't work with a design team, chances are you have a lot of the design and creative work to do yourself, wearing a lot of different hats. This is fairly common at smaller companies where you might be a one-person team having to do everything. In these cases, it's critical that you have some basic UX skills so that your work looks polished and professional, and that your users enjoy the experience. In summary, I would argue that regardless of your company or team size, having a diverse set of skills that includes UX will make you more valuable to your current employer and to future employers when the time comes. And if you're self-employed, these skills will be very valuable to the customers you work with. Hopefully by now I've convinced you that it's worth your time to at least learn the basics. So let's get started. I'll see you in the next module.